Ahora is het. En Sinclair met zijn voet. En dan ziet het er voor de keeper juist lullig uit. Trap. En die wordt gepakt door Maarten Paas. Nu zit hij in de goede hoek. Lejet dan. In zijn eerste seizoen bij Dallas. Veel ervaring en een goede penalty. Ahora is het. En Sinclair met zijn voet. Arriaga. Eigenlijk mag Minnesota niet meer missen. Paas zit er weer dichtbij. Nu zit hij in de goede hoek. Invaller Arriaga. Lejet dan met de 2-2. Maar het initiatief ligt bij Dallas. Dit is Hedges. Veel ervaring. Ook een goede penalty. In het zijnet. Arriaga. Dan is het weer de beurt aan Paas. Benitez, die is onhoudbaar. Invaller Arriaga. Ook een invaller trouwens, die Benitez. Initiatief ligt bij Dallas. En weer gaat die Sinclair de verkeerde kant op. Penalty. Nu bij de penalty van Ferreira. In het zijnet. En dan mag Minnesota niet meer missen. Garcia achter de bal. Weer de beurt aan Paas. Allemaal invallers. Deze die is onhoudbaar. Is goed. En dan is het namens Dallas aan Velasco. Alan Velasco. Sinclair uit Argentinië doet het zo. Wat een vernedering voor die Sinclair. Die ook al die andere Panenka nog aanraakte. Dallas houdt het dankzij Maarten Paas, die de enige strafschop is te stoppen in deze serie.
I wanted Hara to take the first one because he has a lot of experience, can give confidence to the group. And Alan wanted to take the fifth penalty. And today they just executed perfectly.
LA Galaxy miste 4 van de laatste 5 play-offs. Zullen dus voor een deel van blij zijn dat ze er nu weer bij zijn. Tegen Nashville is de eerste grote kans voor Nashville. Kan gelukkig zijn eigen fout herstellen. Bond, de keeper, die daar in de fout gaat. Maar hij weet in ieder geval de tegentreffer te voorkomen in een hele matige eerste helft. En ook in de tweede helft vrij lang voordat er wat gaat gebeuren. Mukhtar krijgt de kans, speler die er 23 maakte in de competitie. Maar hier dus nog niet weten scoren voor Nashville. Dan in de omschakeling is daar LA Galaxy. Het is zomaar 4-2. Keurig uitgespeeld. Chicharito scoort. In absolute bloedvorm met 11 doelpunten in zijn laatste 12 duels. En nu dus de 1-0. Althans, dat denkt hij. Maar een overtreding gemaakt helemaal bij zijn inworp zorgt ervoor dat hij alsnog wordt afgekeurd. Geen 1-0 dus voor LA Galaxy. En het blijft nog 0-0 met deze bal van Araujo op de paal belandt. LA Galaxy duidelijk sterker na rust. Kans na kans. Met dat afgekeurde doelpunt er ook nog eens een keer bij. Maar nog altijd geen voorsprong. Deze voorzet is goed. En daar is hij dan wel. Wat denkt hij? Het doelpunt van Araujo. De voorzet is op maat. En daarmee LA Galaxy door naar de volgende ronde.
Zometeen gaan we kijken naar al het moois aan de kant van de Eastern Conference in het playoff schema. We beginnen in de Red Bull Arena.
En daar is hij dan wel.
De Major League Soccer Playoffs zie je uiteraard live op ESPN.
De voorzet is op maat.
Met grote sterren. Natuurlijk wereldgoals. De MLS Cup Playoffs. Natuurlijk op ESPN. De Major League Soccer Playoffs zie je uiteraard live op ESPN. Met grote sterren.
Buiten heb je nodig. Maar in een wereld van overproductie heeft buiten ons ook nodig. Daarom willen we niet dat iedereen maar blijft consumeren. Ook niet bij Bever. Dus onderhoud je producten. Laat ze repareren of lever ze bij ons in. Voor een tweede leven. Want elke stap telt. Buiten heeft je nodig.
Speels met Oreo.
Voor een casino online kun je nu ook onderweg blackjack spelen.
Elke stap telt.
Nu wordt het spannend.
Buiten
Nee, niet een boer.
Kom dan, laat zien wat je hebt.
Kom dan! Wat zei jij?
Ga naar hollandcasino.nl. Holland Casino Online kun je nu ook onderweg.
Ontdek Oreo Crunchies. Mini-koekjes, maxi plezier.
Muziek is een van de belangrijkste pijlers in mijn leven. Het is niet alleen een levensader, het is ook een plakboek vol met herinneringen uit je jeugd. Ik word al heel hebberig. Wat zie wat je hebt? Ook in colors zien. Ik ben heel erg benieuwd naar de muzikale herinneringen van luisteraars. En vooral ook welke muziek en waarom. Heb je het tasje erbij?
Een volle wagen voor weinig, zo kan het ook. Met deze week alle Robijn 1 plus 1 gratis. En alle verse pasta of pasta sauzen ook 1 plus 1 gratis.
Het is niet alleen een levensader.
Proef de meest tedere Milka ooit. Met meer cacao voor een intensere chocoladesmaak. Nu nog rommiger dan ooit. Milka, teder smaakt beter.
Een volle wagen
Ze hebben een lange en zware reis voor de boeg. Door regen en wind, van het ene continent naar het andere. Maar sommigen hebben andere ideeën. Als je gaat vliegen, vlieg dan beter. Door regen en wind, van het ene continent naar het andere. Maar sommigen hebben andere ideeën.
Minder CO2-uitstoot, minder brandstofverbruik. Goed om af en toe te laten staan. Renault Captur e-tech Hybrid. Tot 40% besparen op brandstofkosten.
Profiteer van de 7 zekerheden van Renault tijdens de e-tech Hybrid Days. En rijd dit jaar nog in een van de e-tech Hybrid modellen.
CO2-uitstoot, minder brandstof.
Ook zondag. Genoeg om naar uit te kijken in speelronde 11 van de Eredivisie. 6 wedstrijden verspreid over de hele dag. Kun je eigenlijk maar één ding doen.
Ik sta er niet.
Daar ik er zeker van genieten.
Dus het is mooi. Dat is natuurlijk genieten.
Van dat wat de Eredivisie zo mooi maakt.
Wat een goal! Jongens, wat een goal zeg!
Dus zorg dat je erbij bent, want het belooft een spektakel te worden. Je ziet het allemaal live op ESPN. Voetbal, we kunnen er uren over praten.
Kan je opnieuw?
Nee, ik voel hem ook nog niet.
Niets is mooier dan praten over voetbal?
Meer cliché kan je niet zeggen.
Ja, precies.
Oké, het is niet zomaar praten over voetbal.
Ik zou er eigenlijk wel meer van willen zien.
Gaat snel zien.
Het is discussie.
Dat is het even
Opinie, het is...
Alleen maar zeik. Maar
Ik stel gewoon een kijkersvraag.
iedereen is verlies de bal zet. Ze zijn allemaal gek op. Dat is dan zo'n flauwekul.
Praten over voetbal en meer.
Het meest treurige moment is dat iemand mijn fiets gestolen heeft vandaag.
Voetbalpraat. Maandag tot en met donderdag op ESPN.
Meer cliché kan je niet zeggen.
Voetbalpraat wordt mede mogelijk gemaakt door Amazon.nl.
Wel meer van willen zien.
Opinie, het is...
Alleen maar zeik.
Na 3 jaar van onderaan bungelen kwam Cincinnati tot leven in 2022. Hun avontuur in de play-offs begint in de Red Bull Arena.
De nummers 4 en 5 van de reguliere competitie tegenover elkaar. Voor Cincinnati de eerste keer ooit in de play-offs. Red Bull strandde vorig jaar nog in deze ronde met de eerste poging in de eerste helft waarin niet zo heel veel gebeurde. Matt Miazga in de basis bij Cincinnati, oudspeler van Vitesse. En Tano krijgt deze bal recht op zich af. Nummers 4 en dus geen probleem. Maar goed, dat was het dus wel wat betreft de eerste helft. Maar er is inderdaad niet zo heel veel gebeurde. Na rust wordt dat allemaal goed gemaakt met een spectaculaire wedstrijd. New York Red Bulls met de eerste treffen. En een werkelijk schitterende van Lewis Morgan. Een schitterend schot van de 26-jarige schot. Die hard op weg is naar de 20 doelpunten dit seizoen. Maar goed, dan moet New York natuurlijk wel nog even door. We moeten vandaag nog heel veel zin in hebben tegen Cincinnati. Even klaarleggen. Wat een geweldige streep. Met de treppen. En dus moet het antwoord gaan komen van Cincinnati. De aanval is goed. Een doelpunt niet daar. Want het is een prachtige redding van Carlos. De Braziliaanse keeper van New York Red Bulls. Natuurlijk moet die andere Braziliaan Brenner scoren. Ja, het is ook wel een heerlijke redding van Carlos om zijn ploeg op voorsprong te houden. Van Cincinnati. Druk blijft wel van Cincinnati dat beter is gaan voetballen en bij toeval hier op 1-1 komt. De handen gaan wel omhoog, er wordt geappelleerd. Gaat het doelpunt dan wel door? Carlos is ervan overtuigd. Nee. Geen geldige treffer. En heeft hij gelijk of niet? Er staat in ieder geval iemand buitenspel. Er ligt iemand op de grond. Er wordt uiteraard nog gekeken. Wat is er allemaal aan de hand? Een wat lompe actie vooral. Dat beter is gaan voetballen en bij toeval. En die wordt dus bestraft. Cameron die in de rug springt van zijn tegenstander. En dat deed terwijl hij in buitenspelpositie stond. Dat zorgt ervoor dat de 1-1 van Moreno niet doorgaat. Hij is wel in een fase waarin het veel beter gaat met Cincinnati. Het is een snel en slim genomen vrije trap. De voorzet is goed, maar wordt het net verdedigd. En dat is een overtreding. Penalty voor Cincinnati. Het team wordt dus bestraft. Ze werden 12e, 14e en 14e in het reguliere seizoen in hun eerste 3 seizoenen. Nu keurig 5e de play-offs in. En daarin doen ze het, zeker in die tweede helft, gewoon goed tegen de New York Red Bulls. Veel beter gaat met Cincinnati. Achter de bal, Luciano Acosta. Laatste 2 wedstrijden in de reguliere competitie gescoord. En deze benut hij feilloos. Kwartier voor tijd. En Cincinnati verdient op gelijke hoogte. In het reguliere seizoen, in hun eerste 3 seizoenen, nu 5e in de play-offs in. En daar doen ze het. Nu heeft ook keeper Carlos geen kans. Red Bulls. En is dus de voorsprong voor Cincinnati. Minuutjes later, daar is Cincinnati weer en daar is de 2-1. Vasquez scoort. Aan de lopende band heeft hij gescoord dit seizoen. Voor tijd. De Amerikaan Brandon Vasquez. En vlak voor tijd met de 2-1 voor Cincinnati op bezoek bij de New York Red Bulls. Heel beheerst. Wat is hij belangrijk dit seizoen met al die doelpunten en dan deze. Om zijn ploeg normaal gesproken naar de halve finale te schieten. Maar goed, er is nog tijd en er is nog een kans. Maar ja, Tano redt. En het is een cruciale redding. Want opgeteld bij dat doelpunt van Vasquez betekent dat Cincinnati in hun eerste keer in de play-offs zich meteen plaatst voor de halve finales.
Credit to Sergio and him being able to find some space and some separation and a great pass in front of goal to Brandon, who was really committed to that run. So it's a big win for our group and I think a big day for our club.
Montreal verloor voorafgaand aan de play-offs slechts 1 keer in 15 wedstrijden. Maar al die mooie statistieken waren even niet waard geweest als Erkan Kara deze enorme kans voor Orlando City had benut. In de eerste helft van deze ontmoeting. We zitten in de blessuretijd van die eerste helft. Als Orlando via Antonio Carlos de volgende kans krijgt. Dat is de ploeg die pas op de laatste speeldag het ticket voor de play-offs pakte. Montreal is een veerkrachtig team. Dat blijkt in de tweede helft.
Makes the breakthrough. A massive moment for Montreal.
Zo heeft de nummer 2 van de Eastern Conference het heft in handen. En diep in blessuretijd valt de beslissing als George Michailovic net binnen de 16 wordt neergelegd. Een penalty die de Amerikaanse international zelf neemt en binnenschiet. Daarmee verzekert hij Montreal van een plek in de conference semifinals voor het eerst sinds 2016. De kampioen is er helemaal klaar voor om de titel te verdedigen. Inter Miami is juist uit op een verrassing op Citi Field. Kampioen is er helemaal klaar voor.
New York City, de nummer 3 van het reguliere seizoen, ontvangt Inter Miami, de nummer 6. Dus is New York wel de favoriet met de eerste kans daar ook nog in de eerste helft. Als de lat wordt geraakt voor de thuisploeg. Nick Marsman op de bank. Bij Inter Miami, ik zou zeggen uiteraard, waar Higuain natuurlijk in de basis staat. En New York aardig op dreef de laatste weken met 4 zegens op rij. Maar hier is de kans en het doelpunt. Maar de vlag is omhoog. Higuain. Als ze verliezen is het zijn afscheid en zijn laatste wedstrijd in het betaald voetbal. Bijna dat nog bekroont hij met een doelpunt, maar de vlag terecht omhoog. Zo'n droomscenario is dus niet voor Higuain. Aardig eerste helft zo, met New York weer in de aanval. En daar is Heber, die doet het heel slim, maar het verdedigen is ook slim. En bijna nog een eigen doelpunt erbij ook, maar het blijft 0-0. Hij kan het niet geloven, maar Pika is de speler die redt. Op zeer spectaculaire wijze. Daar heeft bijna nog een eigen doel geschoten. Bijna dat nog bekropt. Vrij onorthodox uitverdedigen, maar geen corner weggegeven. Dat is altijd knap. 0-0 bij rust en dat is op zich best een aparte tussenstand. New York City wel duidelijk de betere ploeg. En daar zijn ze ook aan het begin van de tweede helft alweer met de volgende kans. En het doelpunt. Gabriel Pereira. 21-jarige Braziliaan. Met de logische en ook volkomen verdiende voorsprong voor New York City FC. Lijken op tijd in vorm zo voor de play-offs. Ze kwamen uit een reeks met 1 zege in 10 wedstrijden. Maar daarna dus 4 wedstrijden op rij gewonnen. En in deze wedstrijd is het ook echt wel een stuk beter dan Inter Miami. Heel fraai afgemaakt deze. Door Gabriel Pereira. Daarmee is de wedstrijd wel redelijk onder controle. 6 minuten later is daar Maxi Morales en het is 2-0. En daarmee de wedstrijd ook eigenlijk wel gelopen. Vrij afgemaakt. Pereira, de jonge Braziliaan, zorgde voor de 1-0. Hij is intussen 35, Maxi Morales. We kennen onder andere van Atalanta. Dit is een hele fraaie aanval van New York City FC. En zo wordt Inter Miami toch in het grootste gedeelte van deze wedstrijd wel overlopen. Maxi Morales en het is 2-0. City is natuurlijk de winnaar van de MLS Cup vorig seizoen. Is dus wel wat aan zijn stand verplicht. En komt ook op 3-0. Geklungel achterin bij Inter Miami. En nu kan niemand Heber meer van zijn doelpunt houden. Ook niet in eerste instantie de keeper. Want er komt een rebound. En die wordt benut. 3-0. De kampioen van vorig seizoen gaat door. En een treurig einde aan de carrière van Gonzalo Higuain.
Last year we did a lot of work on having everything to gain and just concentrating on the next game. Forget MLS Cup, just win the next game and see where it gets you. And we have that feeling tonight and the message is the same. Now we go for Montreal.
De regerend kampioen mag naar Canada in de conference semifinals. Voor Cincinnati ligt er een mooie uitdaging. Zij treffen Philadelphia Union, de nummer 1 van de Western Conference. Dus die stromen pas in de halve finale in. In het westen is er een Texaans onderrondje tussen Austin en Dallas. En een zeer belangrijke El Tráfico, waarin LAFC, de beste ploeg van het reguliere seizoen, het opneemt tegen de rivaal uit Los Angeles, LA Galaxy. De regerend kampioen mag naar Canada in de conference semifinals. De regerend kampioen begon de titelverdediging in stijl. Zeer belangrijk. En we sluiten af met een prachtige Panenka. Tot de volgende keer.
Volgende week donderdag een cruciaal avondje Europees voetbal live op ESPN. AZ gaat in de Conference League op bezoek bij FC Cincinnati. En in de Europa League krijgt PSV hoog bezoek uit Londen. Om 9 uur neemt Feyenoord het in de spannende Groep F op tegen Sturm Graz. En zie je het Manchester United van Erik ten Hag. Een heerlijk avondje Europees voetbal. Natuurlijk weer live op ESPN.
We got a lot of guys that's excited to step in and be a part of what we're doing here, and I'm excited as well.
De NBA kijk je live op ESPN.
Of we ons verhaal nou beginnen in de stadions, op een lokale voetbalclub of op pleintjes waar jongeren elkaar ontmoeten. Door het hele land zetten voorvechters zich in voor een nieuwe voetbalwereld. Een voetbalwereld waar iedereen zich thuis voelt. En dat is niet voor niks.
Het is wel belangrijk dat het een plek is voor dames die nooit de kans hebben gekregen om echt te gaan voetballen.
Ik wil natuurlijk niet dat de jongeren bang zijn om op de straat te kunnen lopen.
Het is fantastisch dat iedereen hier een keer man of the match kan worden.
Ik probeer het licht te laten zien aan de wereld, de positiviteit.
Dit is ons elftal. Dit is ESPN Bondgenoot. Of op pleintjes waar jongeren...
Wil je alles weten over de grote Amerikaanse sporten? Dan in alle staten. Met onze eigen analisten.
Ben je er klaar voor?
Experts en onverwachte kenners. Duiken in bijzondere verhalen en spreken grootheden.
Absolutely, how could you not make fun?
Kijk naar...
In all these states.
In all states.
Juist, in alle staten. Elke dinsdag om 7 uur. Natuurlijk op ESPN. Zaterdag komen onder andere Feyenoord en Ajax in actie. Op ESPN. En we beginnen al om 4:30. Met Feyenoord tegen Fortuna. Meteen daarna gaat Ajax op bezoek in Waalwijk.
Dat was al leuker en leuker.
En als afsluiter een potje uit de staart van de ranglijst. Vitesse FC Emmen. Feyenoord en Ajax achter elkaar en een kelderkraker. Allemaal op het eerste kanaal van ESPN. Zaterdag komen onder andere Feyenoord en Ajax in actie op ESPN. En we beginnen al om 4:30. En daarna gaat Ajax op bezoek in Waalwijk. Afsluiten een potje uit de staart. Ajax achter elkaar en
Right? Much lightning. That's done an incredible job.
Cincinnati has the lead.
A lot of familiarity, but once the opening whistle blows, it's 90 minutes where we're competing against each other.
We're always in contact. Our relationship is strong.
Union undefeated at home. What a year.
We're both looking forward to our groups matching up against each other again.
Jim Curtin spent 4 years mentoring Pat Noonan in Chester, Pennsylvania, before the former New England Revolution forward decided to strike out on his own in Ohio. Tonight, the pair, who remain as close as ever, go head-to-head for a place in the Eastern Conference Final. Welcome along to Subaru Park for the Philadelphia Union versus FC Cincinnati. Well, this is the first last four conference clash, with the winners taking on either CF Montreal or New York City FC, who play in Canada on Sunday, while the first Western semi-final takes place later tonight with a very special El Tráfico. Supporters Shield winners LAFC host city neighbours the LA Galaxy. The other Western Conference fixture is an all-Texan affair as Dallas travel to Austin. Well, this is the first last four conference clash. Well, key performers for you tonight. These players have been in tremendous form over the course of the season. Kostog with 22 goals in 2022. That is a team high. And he scored in the 2-0 home win against Cincinnati last season. He would dearly love to repeat that this time around. Andre Blake has been such a fantastic goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. 15 clean sheets in 2022. That is a league high. It's the most that he's achieved in a single season. But he's only ever managed one clean sheet in the playoffs from 7 previous appearances. Team high. Wagner is a defender, but a team high 15 assists in 2022. Part of the Supporters Shield winning side of 2020, 32 assists in his 110 Major League Soccer appearances. Clean sheets in 2022. As for Cincinnati, well, Lucho Acosta has been in brilliant form this term. 19 regular season assists. That is a league high. He scored in his last 3 appearances in Major League Soccer. 10 goal involvement in his last 9 appearances. Part of the Supporters Shield. Vasquez has been in excellent form as well, and including fixtures against the Philadelphia Union. He scored in both games against the side that he faces this season in 2022. 18 goals in Major League Soccer this season. 6 headed goals is a league high. Speaking of 18 goals, that's the same number as Brenner. They are joint team leaders when it comes to goals scored. He's also netted 3 Major League Soccer hat-tricks in 2022, and he scored 9 times in his last 6 MLS appearances. Well, the Union are on home soil tonight, where Jim Curtin's side went unbeaten in MLS in 2022, but Pat Noonan won't be intimidated by these familiar surroundings. Let's hear from both camps. Number as Brenner.
I don't think a ton of people picked them to do as well as they have. I think I'm not that surprised by the work that Chris Albright and Pat Noonan have done, because I'm very familiar with them and their winners. But now they're playing with the house's money, and that's a dangerous thing.
This is a playoff game against a team that has been in this position before at home with a very good crowd behind them. So it is going to be very difficult. We need to just make sure that we're very tuned in for 90 minutes, because they won't stop.
Playoff soccer looks a lot different than regular season soccer, and it's good to have some of our guys to have multiple games of playoff experience behind them.
The atmosphere will be incredible. That fan base in that stadium for a playoff game is electric. Despite being on the road against a good team, doesn't mean we have to weather a storm. How do we have a strong start to the game? So there's ways where we can be on the front foot, but those are games you want to be a part of.
Recognizing now that we're 3 wins away from lifting MLS Cup is something that these guys have worked very hard to put themselves in a position to do. They've had a lot of records this year and accolades, but this group only wants one thing, and that's to go out on the field and get a victory.
Be on the front foot, but those are games you want to be a part of.
Well, let's check out the teams for you. Andre Blake and Jacob Glesnes were named MLS goalkeeper and defender of the year respectively this week. They both start tonight, as they have done for every league game so far this season. But there is a tweak at the back, as Kai Wagner, who missed the deadline day win over Toronto, returns its 4-3-1-2 with Julian Carranza and Mikel Ua as the forward pair. The teams for you, Andre Blake and Jacob Glesnes were named. Just one change for Cincinnati from their first round playoff success over the New York Red Bulls. Jeff Cameron is replaced by Ian Murphy in defence. It's 3-4-1-2 for the visitors, with the much vaunted attacking trio of Lucho Acosta, Rafa Vasquez and Brenner, who can boast some 46 goals between them in Major League Soccer this campaign. A back three of Miazga, Murphy and Hagelin, with the rookie keeper Celentano between the sticks. Jeff Cameron is replaced by Ian Murphy in defence. It's 3-4-1-2. But a long-standing teacher-pupil relationship. Is it time for Pat Noonan to graduate, or will his team be schooled by Jim Curtin's top boys? No doubt that the Philadelphia Union are the favourites to progress here. They have been breaking records throughout this campaign. Surely, this time around, they can go just a little bit further than they have been in recent campaigns. Of course, Supporters' Shield winners in 2020, but failing to go deep in the postseason. And then the Union left wondering what might have been in 2021 after a COVID-hit squad lost in the conference final. They go to MLS Cup final this time around. As for FC Cincinnati, well, everybody remembers their first, and this is their debut run in the playoffs. They've already beaten the New York Red Bulls in New York. Can they go again? Philadelphia, it will be fascinating to find out. And what a turnaround it has been for FC Cincinnati. They were wooden spoon regulars, of course, when they entered Major League Soccer, but Pat Noonan has got them firing on all cylinders this season. It really has been an incredible rise. They finished 5th in the Eastern Conference, but they have got something to make up on this man's side. Jim Curtin will know all about how Cincinnati play, but this season his team have failed to beat them. Of course, a draw here and a 3-1 away defeat in this do-or-die fixture. And the boys, blue and gold, get the better of Cincinnati for the first time this term. They will be favourites. It's for the orange and blue. They know that they will have to play their very best to make sure that they make it through to the conference final. But this season, and as well for that young man, brief glimpse of Jack McGlynn, just 19 years old, another one that's come through the academy. An academy that Pat Noonan knows all about, of course. He spent 4 years here as an assistant coach. And he claimed another key win against the Union and his very good friend Jim Curtin. Well, that lot are ready to do. The Philadelphia Union expects, after a stellar season, fantastic atmosphere here. Another one's come through the academy. Our referee is Tim Ford. The Union unbeaten in the 6 games that he has taken charge of the home side in. He did take charge of the 1-1 draw between these sides back in June of 2022. You're with Dan Roebuck and David Plotton. And David, well, plenty of narrative surrounding this one. When it comes to the two coaches, the two sets of players will be hoping to move away from that, play their own game, and as we see Cincinnati attempting to start well, try and make it through to the conference final.
Superb start, isn't it, really? The narrative is there. So many stories, so many intricacies to this matchup. Two of the high scorers, or the two high scorers, of course, in the East. Hopefully, sat here taking these first few seconds, awaiting a game that's awash with goals, drama, and incident.
Well, we've had plenty of that, certainly when it comes to the Philadelphia Union this season. Likewise, Cincinnati, they have been rewriting the headlines week to week. No one expected them to make the playoffs, and they got off to a poor start of the campaign. However, over the second half of the season, they've been excellent, mainly due to the form of this man, Lucho Acosta, who is the creator-in-chief, of course, for Cincinnati. But the front players of Vasquez and Brenner have certainly started to fire. The whistle has gone. We've got bodies down inside the area. It's going to be a free kick. Kelly and the player, so he's on the deck. There is Andre Blake, MLS Keeper of the Year for the 3rd time in his career. Got the highest save percentage in Major League Soccer this term as well. He started to play of MLS Keepers of the Year in 2016 and 2020. Just 1 or 2 injuries at significant points of his career maybe has prevented him from moving to Europe. Oh, he's down meanwhile, claiming he got a whack to the head. MLS Keeper of the Year for the third time in his career.
It's going to be a physical battle at the top, isn't it?
Percentage in Major League Soccer this term.
Goes down as if he's been elbowed in the temple. That wasn't quite the case with the coming together with Miazga.
Miazga maybe with a point to prove. Will have left it a little too late to get into Greg Berhalter's World Cup squad, but at last stage it's an absolute shoo-in when he went to English football with Chelsea. Didn't really work out with the Premier League club across the Atlantic, but did have some good spells across European football, but now a permanent fixture with Cincinnati, having signed mid-season. See what Vasquez can do. Cleared away by Martinez. And again, the whistle has been sounded. Well, 2.5 minutes in, it's been more stop than start here.
The referee has found himself in a position where he's part of playing the ball. The reaction there from the Cincy players was an obvious one.
With Cincinnati signed mid-season. What Vasquez can do, cleared away by just a bit of hesitancy from VIVO over on the right-hand side. And Cincinnati really have started well. There's been more opportunity for Powell to get forwards. Blake with an uncharacteristic flapper there. Still not completely away. This is Acosta. Powell once again. Richo Acosta challenged by Martinez. And Union haven't found any real rhythm in the very early stages of this fixture.
Soon as they're snapping at the heels of Acosta, not allowing him to turn inside the 18-yard box.
Cincinnati really have started well. To get forwards, Blake with a characteristic flapper there. Still not completely away. This is Acosta. Once again, Richo Acosta checked by Martinez.
Intrigued to know the kind of way that both of these coaches approach this game, not just from the professional point of view, but the personal side of it, of course. Many an hour picking each other's brains, haven't they, in seasons gone by.
Now to come forward and strike one. Took a deflection, ricocheted up, Blake this time with better handling. Scored 5 goals so far this season for Villarreal. Weighed in with some 9 assists as well. It's been a source of creativity and goals over the course of this term. His last coming against the Quakes back in September. So scored a couple of goals in the extra time win over Pittsburgh in the cup earlier this term. Let's see what Union can do at the other end here. Touch from Mabodo. With some 9 assists as well. Pat Noonan described the draw between these two back in June as very much a turning point for FC Cincinnati. They, of course, went on to beat the Philadelphia Union 3-1 at home. But he said that game gave his players an awful lot of confidence that they could compete with the best. After a stuttering start to the season, as we mentioned, lost the first 2 games of the season and 4 of their first 6. But grew into the campaign as the year went on. Finished some 18 points behind the Union. Cincinnati. They, of course, went on to beat the Philadelphia Union. Better of the Red Bulls come from behind success. Now then, here's an opportunity for the Union. It's a comfortable save from Celentano. Was Carranza getting forward and breaking free?
Just a split second, maybe. Suggestion of a clip of the heels from Carranza, whether he was going to attempt to stay on his feet as he did or go to ground. The ball, isn't it? Just a straight one over the top of the Cincy defence for him to chase down. A timid shot towards Celentano's goal.
The player that's been revitalised, 7 goals this season. Initially on loan from Inter Miami, and of course the move made permanent in July, and he slotted in so well with Nico Ua
over the top of the Cincinnati.
Costa just in behind. Goes down quickly at Union. And of course, just 5 appearances last season, only 4 starts, 7 goals this season, surplus 2 requirements, and moving on to Cincinnati for a second spell. In July, slotted in so well. Jamaican record against the Union, 4 wins from his 5 previous appearances, and part of the Portland Timber side, of course, that won MLS Cup in 2015. Back they come again. Will flick it on.
This looks like the fan in the rhythm, doesn't it, the Union? Expectant home crowd taking in what they've seen so far in the opening 7 minutes. Nice little win back. Hospital pass really into the centre of the pitch. Then after that, good pacey break down the left-hand side. On flop with the effort that was blocked eventually to score this season. So here's an opportunity with Wagner with the corner towards the far post, and Glesnes, he won't get to that, it's flicked away. Here is Mbezo to curl back in for the Union. Good delivery, but the header goes wide from Gosdog. On the left-hand side. Huge opportunity. With the effort that was blocked eventually to score this season. He's pointing to his own head. I don't know whether trying to make the point that he's just not caught this cross right as it's held back into the box. There's a lot of space, isn't it, on the edge of the 6-yard box for the Union to have. Clearly onside as well. Maybe it was better placed for Carranza just behind him. I think it possibly was, wasn't it? I think that might have been what he was referencing, the fact that he didn't hear the shout of Carranza behind him. I don't know whether the point that he's just not caught this. Celentano not required. Rookie keeper. Graduated from Indiana University. Was second draft pick 2022. Unusual for a keeper to be so high up when it comes to the draft. But having gone into the team because of injuries elsewhere, it's made the starting jersey his own. 5 clean sheets in his 27 appearances. University. And here from Bezo. Now with Glesnes. The years. The team because of injuries elsewhere. Such a terrific season when it comes to the Union backline, a whole host of records. The fewest amount of goals in Major League Soccer over the course of 2022. Just beginning to find a little bit of rhythm, maybe. Two wonderfully simple statistics are there. The fact that they can score goals going forward, they keep the back door shut as well. Simple formula. Successful football team. Always infinitely more tricky, though, to put it into practice. Wagner. Look outside it. 22. Shades around to pull for Carranza initially. Gosdog will pick it up, but then what cost he? Carranza saying it wasn't me. Martinez is joining in the discussion. Miazga puts the case for the defence. But then Robodo, the player that's gone down. Soft. Very, very soft from the referee. Side it. Shades around. Carranza initially. Saying it wasn't me. Martinez is joining in the discussion. Miazga puts the case for the defence. Miazga rolls it out. This is Murphy. Interesting to see him come back into the side at the expense of Jeff Cameron, the veteran defender bench for this one. Murphy has been in and out of the starting lineup this season, but will play alongside Hagland and Miazga. Wagner in field. This is Martinez. Suddenly, Union on the move. Bezo, who are wasted inside the penalty area. Gosdog was coming. The decision goes against the Union here. I've got the measure of the referee's decision making as he Carranza at this moment in time. See what he's saying though, he leans across first and foremost. Why is the question being asked by the 18,000 plus at Subaru Park? Just the 16th highest average attendance for the Philadelphia Union, but they pack out this place week on week when the side's doing well, as they have been doing this season, and scoring so many goals. 49 at home, that was an MLS record. Well, it's another intervention from the referee, and again it goes against the Union. Yeah, there's no rhythm being allowed to develop in the game. I understand you've got to keep a firm grip on proceedings given what's at stake, but we want to see the game flow, don't we?
Way too many niggly little fouls and clips of the heel, and truth be told, Dan, players going down far too easily. Intervention from the referee, and again it goes against the Union. Yeah, it's a rhythm, to develop in the game. Some distance out, but naturally Acosta standing over this one.
But we want to see the game flow, don't we?
Towards the keeper. Blake will let that one go, and the radar was off a little from the Argentine there. We expect so much from him. 19 assists this season for Lucho Acosta, creator-in-chief, the man that makes Cincinnati tick. He will provide the ammunition for Messrs Vasquez and Brenner. Some distance out, but naturally Acosta standing over this one. So initially by McLean. Carranza comes into trouble, loses possession. Every little thing is being given, and it's frustrating. It doesn't need to be, as I said. We understand what's at stake. It's oversensitive officiating at the moment, unfortunately. Well, Tim Ford is the man in the middle. Mentioning the fact that Union have never lost when he's been the matchday referee. Into trouble, loses possession. Took charge of a Cincinnati game, a 5-2 away win at DC United. It's frustrating. The game is not been allowed to flow just yet. It's oversensitive officiating at the moment, unfortunately. Tim Ford is the man in the middle. Union with a free kick. Never lost. Swinger flicked on, and just while Carranza made something of what was a difficult opportunity.
Really tough chance. The fact that Carranza gets anywhere near towards the goal is impressive indeed. Comes off the back of his head almost, doesn't it?
He's been on the winning side 4 times against Cincinnati, but all of those occasions when he was an Inter Miami player. Argentine under 17 international a few years ago. Came through a fan field in Argentina. Montano puts it long. Martinez went for that, as did McGlynn. Falls to Brenner eventually. Cincinnati, but those occasions when he was an Inter Miami player. To try and pinch this one from Murphy, back with Celentano.
Seems to understand why he likes for safety, Celentano. Undue pressure put upon him from a 4 ball backwards.
Eventually. Considering the amount of goals and the spectacular scorelines we've seen from the Philadelphia Union at home, this is a fixture that's not going quite to plan in the opening 15 minutes or so. Bodo races forward, Wagner dives in, the whistle mercifully does not go, even though Wagner may well have injured himself in the process. This is Bezo on the right-hand side, Carranza calling for it, Ua inside the penalty area. Bezo still going forwards here. Murphy with a block, Union with a corner.
First drive from Bezo down that right-hand side. A couple of nice balls put in, but it's the first time that he drove with the ball at his feet.
Sons of Ben in fine voice. One of the main supporters groups, of course, with the Union. Been such a good side over the last few years. No team has as many points as the Union have in the last 5 campaigns. Supporters Shield winners in that curtailed COVID term. They've gone all the way. They've had a full squad to choose from last season, beat by New York City FC in the conference final. It was very much made to amends. Much experience. This time it is full strength bar Alejandro Bedoya. Problem keeping him out at the moment. In swinger for the Union, punched away by Celentano. Martinez with a volley. This is McGlynn. Curled back in again here to the edge of the area. Won't fall for Mikel Ua.
It's a great ball back in, wasn't it? Just feeling it into an area with that lovely left foot.
Martinez leaves it. In swinger for the Union, punched away by Celentano. Wagner. Martinez with it. It's ready. This is McGlynn. Real decision day against Toronto, 4-0 success after failing to win the previous two. 4-0 reverse in the hands of Charlotte, 0-0 draw against Atlanta. There were just slight concerns that they just lost a little bit of rhythm and momentum, but then 4-0 in the regular campaign put them back on track. And then this is Vasquez who's down, and says Ford wants a word with who. He's been spoken to. There's going to be a condition to follow the lecture.
Well, out of all the fouls that we've seen so far, that one is the most justified of a talking to. Elliott's foot right on the top of Vasquez. Said he would have got an Oscar for that dive because he quite clearly had to go down, didn't he? Spoken to.
Elliott with a header away. Gosdog lifts it forward, looking for Carranza. Falls for McGlynn in that central area. One back by Nwabodo. Here is Murphy. Powell. Still going here, the Jamaican steps away from a couple of challenges. It's a little awkward, but effective nonetheless. Gosdog lifts it forward, looking for Carranza. Falls for McGlynn in that central area. One back by Nwabodo. Again, this is Hagland. This is Murphy. MLS Cup winner on that Cincinnati backline, along with Powell. Playing the same team as Powell, but of course was in Toronto side that won MLS Cup. Winner in Jamaica's final as well. Challenges. Cincinnati born player though, nonetheless. To those in Ohio go well in the playoffs, and the fact that he's got more experience than most. We looked to him, season at the back, through some choppy Philadelphia waters at the moment, because Cincinnati may well have started well, but the Union have come back at them as well. Player though. He wants them to find some rhythm, I think. I'll get there. They hope their side will do as well, but a minute, just failing to really impose themselves on this Cincinnati side. This is Vasquez to take the shot on early. Gets down well, fairly central, but even so.
That's a really small gap, doesn't he, Vasquez? Run by Nwabodo. Was getting his shit tugged as well. Driving forward. First time hit from Vasquez just as that little gap appears. Blake, though, of course, equal to it. Vasquez with 18 goals in the regular season, +1 in the playoffs, of course, against the Red Bulls in the previous round. He scored in his last 3 appearances. Just wonder if Cincinnati would go all the way, or could go all the way, and if he was scoring, does that get him in the USA squad? Would it get him in the Mexico squad? Mexico's struggling for a striker at the moment. He's such a good play for both at the moment. He's been ignored by the United States at senior level. Did play for them, of course, in the 17 World Cup a few years ago, being in the group stages in 2015. Just wonder. Cincinnati through Tijuana, south of the border. The problems that Mexico have had in that particular position, as the United States have as well. The next couple of weeks will be very interesting for him. This is Brenner, Brazilian junior international. Might have to improve a little bit to force his way in Brazil's squad somehow. Powell, or in orange, waiting for the delivery. Here's ball in. Elliott will take a touch. Wagner, it's dangerous. Martinez, likewise. Elliott, a little more definitive, but a corner for Cincinnati. Moment of panic. Wild swing, wasn't it? Which sent the ball back into his own 18-yard box for Elliott to have to mop up.
Alvaro to send this one spinning it in, swinger left-footed, no, something short and different. Eventually towards Acosta on this near side. Can he drive in? He can. Ricochets to the edge of the area. Murphy leaves it. The measured effort is blocked.
Really inventive corner, wasn't it? The ball at the feet of Acosta inside the 18-yard box. Couldn't quite pick out a man. In the end, there's three Cincy players queuing up to get on the end of the ball that comes spluttering out to the edge of the 18-yard box.
Moreno took it on. Clip back inside the area. Jiska will jump. Lesnes will clear. Cincinnati back in the danger area with Vasquez. We've already got one down, make that two.
The 18-yard box. Reaction to the Union players suggests maybe that the ball that comes an elbow from Vasquez.
Martinez who's down as well. This was a different incident just before this. That's the danger area with Vasquez. And as you can see already on the deck, Martinez. Wagner went down second time around.
The players suggests maybe that an elbow Vasquez. Vasquez probably just making the point that it's very, very hard to jump to compete for a header without using your arms as some form of leverage.
Vasquez. You can see already on the deck, Martinez. First defender ever to reach 15 assists in a Major League Soccer season. Terrific achievement from Kai Wagner. Was once on the books of Schalke.
It's probably just making the point that it's very, very hard to jump to compete for a header without using your arms as some form of leverage.
Jim Curtin has done so well recently when Tanner, the new sporting director, came in. There was always that question mark as to whether Curtin was going to stay at the Union, but he did. They've got a great relationship. His coaching ability, and Tanner's off-field prowess, and the youngsters that are coming through and have done over the last few years, and of course two have made their way to Europe. So well recently, St. Anderson, of course, now at Leeds United in the Premier League. His younger brother Paxton is on the bench for this one. Muller complains. Saved the challenge, eventually goes into the book, and well, suddenly Costa and co are saying, well, what about that one? What about that one?
Could be a sense of frustration for the players when, well, that first is clearly not a foul on Vasquez. Second incident looks more clumsy than anything else. It was justification for a yellow card, but at some stage in the game, given how fragmented it's been, you would have thought that that was going to happen. A sense of frustration for the players when the first clearly not a foul on Vasquez. More clumsy than anything else. Justification, but at some stage in the game, given how fragmented it's been, you would have thought it was going to happen.
Tries to stab it back to the edge of the area, ricochets around, but well, the effort from Carranza straight down the throat of Celentano.
Possibly that Carranza's arm had a part to play in bringing the ball under control here. That was the reaction of the Cincy players, just suggesting to the referee. Harmlessly into the arms of Celentano.
Foul slips. Elliot Martinez surrounded by orange jerseys. Now it's with Gosdog.
Possibly that Carranza's arm had a
Carranza's touch, and Gosdog will go again here. The Hungarian just can't keep it in play.
Suggesting to the referee.
The top four past Toronto in the last game here. They won their last 9. 40 goals in their last 9 home games. The last time that they failed to win, they played. guest is Cincinnati back in June, a 1-1 draw. They failed to score in a 0-0 affair against Inter Miami back in May. They've been so good on their own patch, the Philadelphia Union. They will maintain home advantage. They do get through to the conference final courtesy of their conference position. They did, of course, win the Eastern Conference. They were denied Supporters' Shield glory on Games 1. LAFC, Western Conference champs, managed to put together more wins, which is the key metric to split teams prior to goal difference in Major League Soccer.
It's been a cornerstone, hasn't it, of all the success they've enjoyed this season. The Union being able to that home as a fortress.
Martinez with a miscontrol, Brenner and Vasquez, and then Acosta look to combine, but the trio just unable to find the final ball, the Argentine. Split teams prior to goal difference. Major League Soccer.
This season,
Johnson has been excellent. Cincinnati's away numbers not bad recently, unbeaten the last 7, 3 wins and 4 draws since losing to the Crew in the Helly's Real Derby back in July. Of course, did beat the Red Bulls away from home in the first round of the playoffs. In their first half, their last 7 as well. They've been fast starters. To do something similar here. So the Union played themselves back into the game, but it's good pressure and pressing from Cincinnati. Nothing's underneath this one. Referee takes a look at it and says play on. And then Nwaboro will play forwards. This is Vasquez. He's got Powell over on the right-hand side. It's just to keep the ball in play up against Wagner. Now it's with Hagland. Pressure, pressing. Then jumps with Powell, who shows real strength. The Jamaican still going forwards. Nearly falls for Moreno. To work the goal again here. Brennan will play it out wide left. Fast feet. From Boreal, team back for Nwaboro with a shot just curling away. Boreal had followed in and nearly got his studs to that.
really good play, wasn't it, by Cincy?
Shows real strength, the Jamaican still going forward.
Composed from one side of the pitch to do the layoff from Powell, just to allow Wodo just to feel it in towards that far post. It is more of a cross than an actual shot.
From Boreal, team back for Nwaboro with the shot just curling away.
Just a stud's length away, really.
Nearly got his studs to that.
Really good play, wasn't it?
Gets a score. He's moving from Turkish football. He's the destroyer in midfield. He's picked up some 10 yellow cards this season. Towards Turkish football, he picked up 11 last term and the previous season as well. He's say that does attract the referee. Meanwhile, Gostov looking for Carranza. And still going here, tried to pull it back. She does so eventually. Anyone see up there? Well, the shot eventually was fairly weak, wasn't it? That one on.
Clint is making the point, possibly that the ball was bounced into him. That's not the slickest surface you're ever going to see. It's caught under the feet of Carranza as he looks to get the ball back across the 6-yard box. Manages to get the pull back.
Pull it back.
Fuck, isn't it? That just lays it into the path of McGlynn. I said lays it, bobbles it into him.
That's one on. It's against Houston in the 6-0 win here back in July.
The ball was bounced into him.
State's under-20 international on through from the academy. Going to college, more and more players, certainly of Union persuasion. Getting into the academy, getting into the team fairly early. Very much a European thing to the way that the Union do things now with Ernst Tanner as the sporting director. International coach rather discovered so many good players, the likes of Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino, amongst many. Here is Acosta to try and curl in behind Bezo. Glesnes spots the danger, Blake's clearance is awkward and not very good. This is Acosta, runs into Martinez.
It's bitty, isn't it? We're seeing haphazard clearances and mistakes from players that have been so very consistent over the course of the season. Maybe a hint perhaps of the nerves that are on show here, given what's at stake in this game.
Not very good. This is Acosta, runs into Martinez.
It's bitty, isn't it? We're seeing haphazard clearances and mistakes from players that have been so very consistent over the course of the season.
It's a free kick against Murphy, and Union another opportunity to get some players forward. Disjointed display so far from the regular season Eastern Conference champions. It hasn't quite worked for Jim Kern's side. He would have known that it was always going to be difficult against his good friend Pat Noonan. You know exactly how Union tick. He knows how they work. He knows all the players. And Chris Albright, of course, the GM. Along with that man there, Pat Noonan, done such a good job at Cincinnati, and Chris, of course, was at the Union with Messrs Noonan and Curtin. So far from the regular season Eastern Conference champions, Wagner due to curl in, but easily defended. His good friend Pat Noonan know exactly how he
Acosta
knows how they work. He knows all the players.
It in, but loses possession.
With that man there,
gifted back to Cincinnati.
Costa stays down. Mention his assists. He's also got 10 goals this season. Of course, one of the playoffs against the Red Bulls. Costa was Major League Soccer previously, of course, with DC United. Had that great relationship with Wayne Rooney, and nearly joined Paris Saint-Germain. Was on the plane and ready to sign, but it didn't work out. Eventually went to Mexican football and Atlas before coming back to Major League Soccer. Former Boca Juniors player who has been such a good player in MLS. Not good.
Awkward sliding to the floor, wasn't it? This is right near the buckles underneath him as he looks to stretch to keep the ball in play and play it down the line. No impact in it at all. The Union player right on his toes. Really is a key man though, isn't he?
Such a good player.
Fountain of all creation for Cincy.
Awkward. Sliding to the floor, wasn't it? This is right near the buckles underneath him as he looks to stretch to keep the ball in play and play it down the line. No impact in it at all. Right on his toes. Running repairs then to Lucho Acosta, just back up on his feet. Desperate to make sure that he's okay to continue. 10 minutes to go until the half time, and really, the opening 35 minutes that we've had here, nothing too much to write home about. Just over 100 have made the journey. 9 hours to the drive. Setting off around about 5:30 this morning. Vodo going in the wrong direction, but retained possession here for FC Cincinnati. Just over 100 have made the journey. 9 hours. This morning. As well to control that one. Here is Glesnes. Good awareness.
It's really composed play to start with, wasn't it? Then forcing a outlandish pass with the outside of his right boot, running out of space down that right-hand touchline.
Former Norwegian international, hasn't played for the national side for a few years now, but he's had a really good campaign, played in every single minute of Union season so far, and he deserved the Defender of the Year accolade. Of course, Wagner was up for it as well. Two in the mix, Glesnes gets it.
Wasn't it? Then forcing
Scored the goal against the Rebels, of course, in the playoffs last season in the 123rd minute. 25-yard cracker. Put them through to the next round, and since then, the goals have dried up, but the performances at the back have been terrific. Along with Jack Elliott, played really good understanding.
We at the end of the match, Alvaro L'Oreal started.
Sheets, league high, 8 at home, 7 away. This lot are trying their best to lift their heroes on the pitch, but Cincinnati making it very difficult for them. Elliott to cushion it down. This is Wagner to volley forward. He's a willing runner. Alaska takes no chances. Sheets, league high, 8 home, 7 away. This lot trying their best to heroes on the pitch. Martinez. This is Wagner. Still to take the touch. That much of him this stellar season. Into those pockets of space like he does here. Gosdog to try and feed it through, but not the best of balls from Carranza, really. It's just behind him.
It's a poor pass. He's looked to lay into the back foot of Carranza. Been some take for the striker to be able to get it from his heel all the way through. Great play there by Martinez. Nice turn and a incisive ball into the feet.
This stellar season. Into those pockets of space. It's just behind him. It's a poor pass. He's looked to lay into the back foot of Carranza. Some take for the striker to be able to get it from his heel all the way through. Great play. Martinez turn incisive ball into the feet. Now then, was Wagner spotted here because he was furious, suggesting that there was an elbow applied. Carranza's gone down at the moment. Something off the ball, and Tim Ford is just going to get a hold of these players. Yansky saying, nothing to do with me. But, well, VAR will pick this up if there is an issue. There's a bit of pushing, bit of shoving. Nothing really in the face. Carranza. Yansky saying, nothing to do with me.
Not really what VAR has been brought in for, is it, to declare whether something's pathetic or not, because that's exactly what that is. Ridiculous. Bit of really dislocated game in the opening 40 minutes. The referee's done absolutely right there. I was a bit frustrated with him early on, giving too many things in quick succession, but sometimes you just got to look at a situation like that. Carranza's looking for something else again. Way too much energy being expended in little kind of bitty challenges and feet in the wrong place and players going to ground and tell you what, there's some challenges. We just knew this was going to happen. Now that's fair enough. That's a proper challenge of a different era by Avodo. He probably gets away with it right now, but that's justified this reaction. The rest of it, absolutely not. There was a couple just prior to that, though, and the connection wasn't really there. But you could sense that there was going to be one that was a little bit over the top sooner rather than later. I'd like to see this one again. Well, that's a late challenge. That's probably worthy of a bucket. Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple just prior to that. Quite what Andre Blake's doing 70 yards from his goal, looking to try and say help the situation. This exacerbates it more than anything. Talked about his yellow card count, didn't we? Obina Nwabodo, and there's another one. Wagner with a long throw, nodded up into the air. And he's there. So he's Carranza.
A difficult chance, needed it to drop a little more, wanted it to take it maybe a little higher than that to try and avoid the defenders, but either way, it wasn't the worst effort.
So what is it? Just trying to guide it towards Celentano's left hand.
Vasquez to chest it down. This is Brenner. He's got Acosta with him. Vasquez wants it back. Still Lucho Acosta here. Brenner once more. Lesnes and Wagner between them should be able to clear. There's Brenner, Acosta combining again, and you just know that they will create opportunities for each other. Alves Pau. Acosta to turn and show the skill, and still has it here. Can't force it through. Martinez in the way. Brenner once more.
Wasn't it, by Alves Pau? We've seen him rangily drive with the ball at his feet. That was a quick throw, and they got a feet of Acosta inside the opposition 18-yard box.
Opportunities for each other. Alves Pau. Acosta to turn and show the skill. Still has it. Can't force it through. Martinez in the way. Bezo down the line. Mika Ua. He wants to go again, but he cut out his feet. Flicking on to no one in particular. Lesnes for Elliott. A little momentum here potentially. Bezo round the corner. Into the fullback again. It's a little bit awkward. Here's Ua. Nice dog. That's the battle. Loses possession. Acosta just a little too canny for him. Knew what was coming. Hagland. Pau. Norboro. Moreno to help it on. Acosta with the ball at his feet, always dangerous. Goes in towards Pau. And Brenner looks to take it down. The Brazilian loses out. Martinez steps away from one challenge. And then So pokes it forward. Goes up through the centre, looking for Ua. Has got pace, but Hagland eventually decides to knock this one out of play. To help it on, Acosta with the ball at his feet, it's always dangerous. Up just as the half is coming to an end. Just to take it down, the Brazilian loses out.
It's just the final ball ready for the Union, isn't it? Overhit by and large. Players that have hoovered up goals together and created so much for each other. Of course, the regular season just not quite on the same page today. And need to see more from Carranza, Gosdog and Ua. Given as well their regular season output. Final ball, isn't it? Overhit by and large. Hagland for Cincinnati. Martinez with a comfortable interception. This is Gosdog to come forward now. He's got Ua left-hand side, Carranza to his right. Glynn calling forward as well. Now Martinez. Over for Bezo. Still Olivier. Bezo steps away from the challenge well. Can he stand one up here? Nodded away by Murphy towards Wodo. For Cincinnati. He tries to turn his man. He's just a little too strong. Desnes under pressure. Then helps out. Elliott. Wagner. Forward as well. Now Martinez. Now Martinez. Still Olivier. He's Leon Flock. Murphy towards Wodo. Use it for Wagner. Carranza, Martinez. Wants to clear down the line. Vasquez can't make it his. Elliott can. It's all a bit scrappy. Wants to again McGlynn to take it down.
So it's brave. Rostov flags up. I'm sure the initial ball was not meant for him, but he took it well. Just skidded through, didn't it, to Gosdog? Asker, knowing full well, he's got to make sure that he throws himself in front of it, just in case the flag or the whistle isn't put to use. It's only a case of both teams could do way better going into the second half. Maybe try and mitigate saying it's nerves because of the gravity of the game. There's been a little bit of needle in between the two sides. Some of it's been justified, most of it's been frankly embarrassing, but hopefully it'll settle in the second half. As we said, two high scorers in the East, one rock-solid defence from the Union point of view. Hopefully, that gives us the ingredients for a much improved second 45. Let's hope so, because the first half has been fairly forgettable between the two sides. Some of it's been too much of this. But hopefully, let's settle in the second half. As we said, two high scorers in the East. Rock-solid defence from the Union point of view. Hopefully, it gives us the ingredients for a much improved second 45. Let's hope so, because the first half has been fairly forgettable. The two sides have cancelled each other out. Too much of a tactical tussle that hasn't been particularly entertaining. Nesnessen and Bezo and Co. We know how well that they can defend, but we just haven't seen the most of their attacking players, and Celentano's not had too much to do. Likewise, Andre Blake. Defence is very much on top at Subaru Park here. And at the break, it's the Philadelphia Union 0, FC Cincinnati 0. Two sides have cancelled each other. Particularly entertaining. Bezo and Co. We know how well that they can defend. Most of their attacking players, and Celentano's not had too much to do. Very much on top of Subaru Park here. It's the Philadelphia Union 0, FC Cincinnati 0.
Voetbal, we kunnen er uren over praten.
Kan hij opnieuw?
Nee, ik voel hem ook nog niet. Niets is mooier dan praten over voetbal?
Meer cliché kan je niet zeggen.
Ja, precies.
Oké, het is niet zomaar praten over voetbal.
Ik zou daar eigenlijk wel meer van willen zien.
Ga het snel zien.
Het is discussie.
Nee, inderdaad, als het even niet loopt.
Opinie, het is...
Alleen maar zij.
Ik stel gewoon een kijkersvraag.
Iedereen is verliefd op Alfred.
Ze zijn allemaal gek op.
Dat is niet anders dan flauwekul.
Praten over voetbal en meer.
Het meest treurige moment is dat iemand mijn fiets gestolen heeft vandaag.
Voetbalpraat. Maandag tot en met donderdag op ESPN.
Cliché kan je niet zeggen.
Voetbalpraat wordt mede mogelijk gemaakt door Amazon.nl.
Als de winter onvoorspelbaar weer brengt, zijn deze helden er om de uitdaging aan te gaan.
Oh, I'm ready for new challenges. Bring it on.
In een seizoen dat ruiger
It's a miracle that the driver is alive.
en spannender is.
Is tipped over now. Finito capito. Goodbye. Now the best team is together.
Ice Road Rescue. Elke zondag 8 uur National Geographic.
Volgende week donderdag een cruciaal avondje Europees voetbal live op ESPN. AZ gaat in de Conference League op bezoek bij FC Vaduz. En in de Europa League krijgt PSV hoog bezoek uit Londen. Om 9 uur neemt Feyenoord het in de spannende groep F op tegen Sturm Graz. En zie je het Manchester United van Erik ten Hag. Een heerlijk avondje Europees voetbal. Natuurlijk weer live op ESPN.
We got a lot of guys that's excited to step in and be a part of what we're doing here, and I'm excited as well.
De NBA kijk je live op ESPN.
Of we ons verhaal nou beginnen in de stadions, op een lokale voetbalclub of op pleintjes waar jongeren elkaar ontmoeten. Door het hele land zetten voorvechters zich in voor een nieuwe voetbalwereld. Een voetbalwereld waar iedereen zich thuis voelt. En dat is niet voor niks.
Het is wel belangrijk dat het een plek is voor dames die nooit de kans hebben gekregen om echt te gaan voetballen.
Ik wil natuurlijk niet dat de jongeren bang zijn om over straat te kunnen lopen.
Het is fantastisch dat iedereen hier een keer man of the match kan worden.
Ik probeer het licht te laten zien aan de wereld, positiviteit.
Dit is ons elftal. Dit is ESPN Bondgenoot. Of op pleintjes waar jongeren...
Wil je alles weten over de grote Amerikaanse sporten? In alle staten. Met onze eigen analisten,
Ben je er klaar voor?
experts en onverwachte kenners. We duiken in bijzondere verhalen en spreken grootheden.
Absolutely. How could you not be?
Kijk naar
All staff in always try.
In all states.
Juist, in alle staten. Elke dinsdag om 7 uur. Natuurlijk op ESPN. Zaterdag komen onder andere Feyenoord en Ajax in actie op ESPN. En we beginnen al om 4:30. Met Feyenoord tegen Fortuna. Meteen daarna gaat Ajax op bezoek in Waalwijk.
Dat was al leuker en leuker.
En als afsluiter een potje uit de staart van de ranglijst. Vitesse FC Emmen. Feyenoord en Ajax achter elkaar en een kelderkraker. Allemaal op het eerste kanaal van ESPN. Zaterdag komen onder andere Feyenoord en Ajax in actie op ESPN. En we beginnen al om 4:30. Ajax op bezoek in Waalwijk.
That conference semi-final clash between the Philadelphia Union and FC Cincinnati. No goals so far, chances at a premium. 12 attempts, 7 by the Union, 5 for Cincinnati. Union just about shading possession, but keepers untroubled by and large over the opening 45. Hasn't stopped us digging out some highlights for you, though. So these chances would not suggest clear cuts. Carranza did well here, and at one stage thought he might have gone down. Looked to be a nanoseconds worth of contact, which might have sent it to the ground, but elects to get a weak shot off. In fairness, this was a good opportunity. Beto gets the cross in from the right-hand side. Must have took it on. If he leaves that, Carranza might have had an easier header. Nice ball swung back in. Carranza's just behind Gosdog though, isn't he? Bigger shout. Possibly we would have landed on his head instead. To the ground, but likes to get Vasquez with a snapshot from the edge of the area. But Andre Blake getting down fairly comfortably for this one. Very undertested, wasn't he, Andre Blake, in the first half? Cincinnati, there's one or two issues. I'd like to see the likes of Acosta and Co. Getting the ball, but also curling away from Nwobodo. The ball felt into a really dangerous area from Nwobodo. So fairly comfortably for this one. Well, it's been yet another successful regular season for the Philadelphia Union in MLS, and at the heart of everything here is one man.
It's a club that I've seen at all levels now. I started with working with 2-year-olds to 4-year-olds, so I've seen it from the very, very start. You know, I was able to grow and learn, and then I also saw it as the academy coach with the U17 level, eventually an assistant coach, and then ultimately becoming the head coach. At that time, I was the youngest coach in the league. I don't claim that I had all the answers. I was not ready for the job when I look back in hindsight now. But I'm very grateful to be at a club where I grew up in Philadelphia. This is the final stretch of us doing something very special. It's a great point tonight, and we go to the top of the table. Let's go. Come on. We have, three main pillars that we're all about. Number one is that we want to build from within. That's not just players, but also coaching staff and sports performance and scouting. That second pillar is we believe that 11 cohesive players can beat any group of individual talent and superstars, and our players really embody and embrace that. And then the third pillar is innovation. We have to adapt and adjust and be on the cutting edge of analytics, of using data, of scouting and maybe mining countries that have some untapped talent.
A lovely turn from Aronson. A little bit of space for the 18-year-old to shoot. It's gone in the back of the net on his debut.
It's the most powerful thing and recruitment tool that I can have is when Brendan Aronson stepped on the field in front of 60,000 people in Atlanta and scored that first goal, because that was proof of concept, and everybody all over the world speaks of wanting to give young players an opportunity, but few do it.
He's a great coach, takes care of his players, so his players are going to work for him, and I feel like that's a part of, why he's been so successful.
I have 15 different countries represented in my locker room. We have players 16 years old to 34 and 35 years old. You have to get to know them. You have to know when they're feeling good, when they're maybe having a difficult moment with their family. They all have my cell phone. I'm a text message away, which is the way I feel is the right way. And this has worked for me, and I like to have good open dialogue with my players. It tends to bring the best out of them. Jim Curtin, Philadelphia Union head coach.
Fantastic job that he has done over the last few years, and we'll be hoping to inspire his side here because they're being held by FC Cincinnati. We'll have the second half for you shortly.
Which is the way dialogue with my players. It tends to bring the best out of them. Jim Curtin, Philadelphia Union head coach.
Komen er voorbij zitten. Op zondag ben je van harte welkom in de voetbalkantine. Voor en door echte voetballiefhebbers. Waar iedereen elkaar kent.
Wij zitten dus helemaal op één lijn.
En elk rondje er een van de zaak is.
Ik ga nog even drinken halen. Wil iemand nog wat drinken?
Met ruimte voor een goed gesprek.
Er werd alles afgezet. Ja, dat is geen pretje.
Uiteraard oog voor de actualiteit.
Ik vind dit absoluut een belachelijke strafschop.
En de club waarvan ik ben gaan houden. Veel aandacht voor voetbalcultuur.
Daar doe je het voor.
De één na beste tackelaar van de Premier League.
Er kan er weer eentje bij.
Kortom,
dan kan in de kantine.
De voetbalkantine. Elke zondag, 5 uur, op ESPN. En elk rondje er even.
Now blink, thanks, look. This is now the end.
You'll remember the last thing that you do.
The final.
The end of each story. It's very important. How do you want yours to end?
Het laatste seizoen van The Walking Dead. Elke maandag om 10 uur bij Fox.
RKC is al terug op het veld. Het wachten is nog op de tegenstander. Dan kunnen we aftrappen voor de tweede helft. Ja, en laten we hopen dat hij net zo leuk wordt als de eerste. Lang nu. Nog geen enkele beweging. Zouden we toch op het moment naar buiten moeten komen. Maar, wat is dit nou? Ongelooflijk! RKC is al terug op het veld. Direct doelpunten terugkijken waar je maar wilt. Wat houd je tegen? Meer ESPN met de ESPN-app.
There's no better time for hockey than this NHL Saturday presented by SAP. It's the Boston Bruins, led by Patrice Bergeron and the scoring touch of David Pastrnak, taking on the Minnesota Wild with Captain Jared Spurgeon and veteran leader Matt Zuccarello. What a finish! It's live NHL hockey every Saturday night. This Saturday, Bruins versus Wild. NHL Saturday, presented by SAP.
We got a lot of guys that's excited to step in and be a part of what we're doing here, and I'm excited as well.
His career.
De NBA kijk je live op ESPN.
De presentatie van ons vrouwenteam.
Nou, we hebben ook een damesteam.
Ik heb echt de hele dag ESPN gekeken. Eredivisie, je wordt er beter. Rechts op los gescoord. Dat is wel mooi.
Een nieuwe record. Elke zondag om 12:15 live op ESPN.
The Net. Vanaf 12 december bij Fox.
Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, gets my son more excited than an upcoming World Championship. All over the planet, all eyes on the ball. This ball.
Een gloednieuwe dramaserie met Raymond Thierry.
Wereldwijd recht 75 miljard euro. Kein probleem.
The global football community is one big team. Only team.
Over de verborgen wereld. Het voetbal.
You have to pull together.
The Net. Vanaf 12 december.
I mean absolutely nothing, gets my son more excited than an upcoming World Championship. All over the planet, all eyes.
Welcome back. The Philadelphia Union being held by FC Cincinnati after 45 minutes here. Conference semi-final in the East. Of course, the Union, record-breaking campaign over the course of the regular term. But can they do it in the playoffs? Last season, of course, knocked out at the conference final stage by New York City FC, who went on to lift the MLS Cup. Can Jim Curtin's side get it right? 12 months on. Heavy favourites to beat FC Cincinnati. And then from Ohio, under Pat Noonan, former assistant coach, of course, here at Subaru Park, have done really well to make the playoffs, and they are not making it easy for the Union here. You tend to think that it might just be the one goal that's required here. New York City FC went on to Tim Ford gets the second half underway. The Union attacking the goal away to our right in blue with gold trim, and of course orange and blue for FC Cincinnati, who started the first half well and really tried to take the game to the Union. I tend to think, though, David, over the course of the 45 minutes that the Union just had a little bit more control of the fixture, but on the evidence opening 45 minutes, it's difficult to pick a winner, you'd suggest?
Yeah, they had control, but no real clear-cut creation. Final ball was lacking. I hope was going to be addressed going into the second half.
Throws himself to the ground, doesn't get the decision, and suddenly there's an opportunity for Vasquez to come forward. From the near side, goes himself with a powerful effort, always rising, but nearly catching Andre Blake unawares.
Yeah, that was the only choice that he had, Vasquez. Nobody anywhere near him offering support. The loneliest of furrows in the opening couple of seconds of the second half. Very tight angle, wasn't it, to beat the goalkeeper of Andre Blake's calibre.
Goes himself with a powerful effort, always rising, catching Andre Blake unawares.
That was the only choice that he had, Vasquez. Nobody anywhere
Worked
near
when he was at Atlanta United, but he's done so well this season.
The loneliest of furrows in the opening couple of seconds of the second half. Very tight angle, wasn't it, to beat the goalkeeper of Andre Blake's.
Very much a threat alongside Acosta. Not seen too much of Brenner, who's just lost possession there. Barreal wins it back. Costa loses out. He was at Atlanta United, but Carranza this season. Wagner. Well, it's an easy decision to give for the official on the far side. Lazy from Acosta.
Need less of that in the second half, just as a spectacle. I've said
Not seen too much of Brenner.
on many an occasion in the first half about, yes, the pressure of this particular game on the players, given, of course, that one season ends tonight, one progresses, but way too much of the cynical side of the game being shown from both sides.
It's an easy decision to give for the official. Hagland with a header. Nobodo tries to keep it going. Martinez won't get to that. Vasquez a little slow to react. Elliott will clear.
On many an occasion in the first half about, yes, the pressure of this particular game on the
This
players,
header again.
given, of course, that one season ends tonight, one progresses, but
Killed towards Acosta.
the cynical side of the
We'll
game
follow this one through, but
shown from
like
both sides.
will come and claim once again. Early start from the Jamaican named MLS Keeper of the Year yet again. He's been so consistent for the Union. Recall that a fractured hand against a fire-back in October 2020 meant that he missed the playoffs then. He's had knee injuries in the past as well. Follow this one through, but once again, Powell start from the Jamaican. Allowed to go a long way. Brennan will look to control, just gets away from him. Boreal for Acosta. Boreal has continued his run. Acosta tries to trick his way through. Gets a little lucky by making the interception. Powell again. Acosta calling for it. Boreal takes over for a split second. Well, he's confident play. To go a long way. To control, just gets away from him. Boreal for Acosta. Boreal once more. Acosta tries to. No, gives the ball away. It's a little lucky by making the interception. That's clever. Space now. Trying to move through the gears. Ua. And still going Ua. Get another chance to centre. Carranza was calling for it. Gosdog inside the 6-yard box. Once more. Wagner. This is McGlynn. Inside the fullback. Now low ball in here. This is Carranza. Just couldn't take it first time. There was a little spin on the ball that took it away from him. And still going up. Another chance to centre. So it's called space here. The Brenner to turn. Acosta to take it on. Still Acosta. Now it's with Brenner. Back towards Acosta. This is McGlynn. Vasquez wants it. Acosta still has it. They can't get him off him at the moment. This is Brenner. Moreno will take the shot on. Terrific save from Blake. Gets across well to his left-hand side.
Really is the first real test of Blake. It was the best chance that we've seen in the game as a whole. 50 minutes in. Brendan just starting it wide and looking to whip it back inside Blake's post. Definitely going in. Superb stop.
Couple of goals this season for Junior Moreno. Last against Montreal. Good effort and a fine stop.
He's the first real test of Blake.
Union in his DC days, Junior Moreno. And if you give the likes of Acosta and Brenner and Vasquez space in those areas, you're going to find the net or pick the pass. And swinger from Boreal towards the back post. Miazza will get it down and hackled over the crossbar from 7-8 yards. Glesnes' presence was enough, but it's Cincinnati that are creating the chances.
They've woken up in the second half, Cincy. Wonderfully deep, in-swinging corner to the back post. It's a great win at the back. Just a wild blast, though, sending it up and over the bar from Hagland.
This season coming against Charlotte in the 2-0 success. Just one draw in their last 16, 12 of the last 16. Tremendous form out of the US Open Cup by Orlando in the 3rd round. Started the season well with 5 wins in their first 6 and unbeaten in their opening half a dozen fixtures. Set their stall out really early for a good campaign. Success. Continental distraction this time around. Acosta turns, loses out, but then slides in on McGlynn. Out of the US Open Cup by Orlando in the 3rd round. The season well with 6 unbeaten in their opening half a dozen fixtures. Set their stall out really early for a good campaign. That's Martinez just down last time around. See, Acosta turns, loses out, and then slides in on McGlynn. Well, the mascot is the mascot is named Fang. I'm not quite sure if that's the actual mascot or someone's just got the Fang mask on or the head of him playing drums. It is Martinez that's down. See, what is the issue here? Oops. The mascot is name's Fang. I'm not quite sure if that's the actual mascot. Near him when he got Fang mascot down. This Martinez is down.
Strange one, isn't it? Whether it's a knee. It's been any comfort at all, Martinez, does he?
It's been a key performer for the Union. Jose Martinez, a Venezuelan international, got himself back into the national team setup recently, played in a friendly win over the United Arab Emirates back in September, 4-0 success. Qualified for the World Cup finals.
It's been any comfort at all, Martinez, does he?
They come up the side of their Supporters' Shield winning season in 2020. It's been a key to the mainstay. Martinez, a Venezuelan international, got himself back into the discussion goes on. Is the knee stroke foot going to hold off? Success. Season 2020. Stay. Well, he's come back on. He's not moving particularly freely.
It's a strange one, wasn't it? I thought, by the way that he'd gone down, and not concerned with the knee, whether it is something ligament-based, of course.
That's terrific play from Wagner. That really is good play, and he's injured himself in the process here. That's so unlucky, because he was never favourite to win that ball. But he's come back on. He's not moving particularly freely.
Strange one, wasn't it? I thought, when he'd gone down, and it's been a reflection of the game that we've seen so far. No rhythm to it, no momentum being gained by either side.
Really is good playing. He's injured himself in the process here. That's so unlucky, because he was never favourite to win that ball. Iglesias.
Reflection of the game that we've seen so far. There's no rhythm to it, no momentum being gained by either side.
Oh, can't take it first time, and then it's the nature of the game, isn't it? Business. This is Murphy. Alvaro Boreal closes down. Lesness with the interception. Must have seen it coming. Looked like he was looking at the ball, turns away and just runs away from it. He presumes that someone else was going to pick that up in blue. In his best display, 13 this season. A really good campaign today. Boreal. Marino. This is down. Well, again. This is Powell. Suggests he's looking more likely. Then around the corner. To win the play.
It's been made here. Potentially, to the goal whether Elliott is debating whether he actually did get the last touch. Clearly the referee's decided that to be the case.
Boreal again to deliver. Left foot in here for FC Cincinnati. Oh, now then. Essentially, the yellow card has come out here. Debating whether who's been involved with these spats previously. What does he do here? He catches Martinez in the face. Boreal again to deliver. FC Cincinnati. Sure, this time. We've seen this before. Clipped towards the far post. For Miazga. Overhead from Hugland into the arms of Blake. Passage of play that the coach will be happy with. Patton screaming at one or two of his players, or maybe the official. They know each other so well. This was always potentially what might happen. Second guess whatever moves that the opposition players are going to do. They can drill it into their own personnel. The coach will be down to stop them screaming. Rostov. This is Carranza. Rostov back to goal, looking to muscle his way forward. Was he brought down? Not been given for now. It doesn't matter. Shot beautifully for him. Celentano could not get across. The Philadelphia Union lead by a goal to nil. It's been bitty, it's been stop-start, it's been horrendously low on quality this game, given how good we've seen, particularly the Union be over the course of the regular season. But the first real sign of quality, Flock with a very controlled, composed finish. Rostov initially trying his best not to score a goal, just trying his best to win a penalty, wasn't he? But when it needed, the technique, as the ball comes bouncing back towards Flock, that's exactly what he gave him. Celentano had no chance. It's open over him as he reacts a split second too slowly. But given the sound and the noise and the movement of the fans off the back of that hit, the back of the net, they don't care at all. Well, what a time to score your first of the season. Leon Flock, well directed, with some power. As it popped up towards him, right place, right time, but still had plenty to do. Celentano given no chance. Goal from an unlikely source, really. Texan, who was born in the United States, two German parents, played for both the United States and Germany's junior teams. With some coming back to the United States for a spell with versus Pauli. Plenty to do. Celentano given no chance. And it's a crucial goal. Really. I think FC Cincinnati will do that much differently. Not yet anyway, but we'll see. In the United States, two German parents played, but given the fact that Union have not been firing on all cylinders at all, it's a huge lift for the Eastern Conference regular season champions. Vasquez will win a corner. FC Cincinnati will do that much differently. We'll see. Union have not been firing on all cylinders at all.
It's debated by every decision made, isn't there? Howls of derision from the home fans.